All right. All right, I think we are live. So this is kind of an impromptu stream, but I had the idea. It's Monday morning. I had an idea this weekend, and I kind of wanted to kick off. And instead of putting it in my notebook and getting back to it, I want to cover it right now. So it's been a while since I've streamed. So there might be some technical problems and stuff, but excited to get back into it. What I wanted to do is basically, as the title said, all about YouTube ads. So for the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot more YouTube, and last year I think a lot of advertisers that I work with, e-commerce. So I only do e-commerce. We've been handling more YouTube campaigns. And it's super interesting. So my main background is in shopping, particular search as well. Display on YouTube I do, but I'm most confident on driving results from YouTube and search. But it's pretty interesting to also do and see how we can incorporate these YouTube campaigns into the overall setup to really drive results. But one thing, as with most, YouTube particular, so there's many different variables, right? So if we compare like YouTube to shopping or search, with YouTube you basically have like a blank slate on your message, what you're gonna say, but also how you're gonna show it, how you're gonna present it to person, and also who you're gonna target, right? So that can be the type of person or based on their behavior. Have they seen an ad of yours before? Have they been to the website? Are they maybe searching for a product like yours? So there's a lot of different combinations. And one of the things that I've been, so when I'm working with clients, usually the creative is a given. I don't have the production skills or production facilities to really do a lot of creative with products. So my skill set isn't there. So usually when I work with YouTube, the creative is a given. So they have like a set of ads that I run and see like which ad performs best to which audience. And that's good. But I think it always also leaves a little bit of money on the table. Of what I've seen of the video ads that I have done, where I do have more like creative control, just having a little bit better intro or a little bit better sequence or something. It can be the difference between actually an ad that does well. Let me actually just pull up the chat here. When there's it can really move the needle, the creative. So with this in mind, I wanted to actually let me pull up a screen here. Change my setting here. Okay, like this. If you've been following this channel or reading any of the posts that we're putting out, you know about Apes in Space. Apes in Space basically is our trial. It is our trial store, if you will. It's where I do a lot of experimentation with client accounts, but I'm not always able to show you the results. With this store, I am. So it's been going for about 3 years and a half. Hasn't been doing a ton, so we run a lot of ads, try a lot of things. Basically the store is breaking even at this point. There's a handful of sales, I think 4 or 5 sales a month that come in, kind of break even on things. But our main problem here with this store has been that the clicks are just too expensive, and that's because the conversion rate is super low. people are really interested in these things, but it's not really a product that we can entice people to buy. So conversion rates are really low, which means that it's quite expensive to get a customer. I think at this point we can afford a CPA of no, let me say it differently. So we make between $5 and $10 on each sale, right? So I'm thinking about this store as like a break-even thing, and kind of, so the 5 to 10, that's basically my budget for a sale. But then if we look at the CPA that we are getting from shopping mainly, search hasn't been profitable. And there we're always a little bit higher. We are closer, I think, to 20, 25 or something. So basically we're losing money with every click that we get. So to kind of, so it's obvious this store is also to show you and to be able to show you like behind the scenes. Like I've been showing a ton of things in my account of campaigns that we're running. So I think we are running campaigns right now, right? Yeah, so here there is a shopping campaign. Actually here you can see last week we haven't been making any sales. So that 20 euro CPA, it's not really, it hasn't really played out. Yeah, so with that in mind, and with wanting to try a bunch of new stuff on YouTube, I kind of came up with a plan of why don't we try and run an ad for this store. To give you a little bit of a chance to see like how I'm approaching this, and then also how we might integrate it, right? So the idea is that we can drive a lot of basically for YouTube, how I'm approaching that is kind of brand awareness, right? So I've mentioned before that you can't really grow a store with Google Ads. You can capture some of the traffic that's out there, but there's always like a clear limit to it, which you hit pretty quickly, right? So if we start with a new client, month 1 might be like, oh, we see great gains, month 2 as well, but then after, for most clients, we kind of hit that plateau of, yeah, this is it. We can't afford to spend a lot more unless things in the business change. So with this in mind, like, so that's Google Ads. So if we do YouTube, actually there we see that there's more that brand awareness piece, right? So you're pulling in with the content, you're pulling in people that might be interested in your products, and kind of putting your store, putting your products onto their radar. So when they are ready to buy, you're there. So especially with my store, it's more kind of priming people that my store exists, because once they do know it exists, they actually are pretty interested. So I've seen this with people that I've told them that I run the store, and yeah, so there actually it was pretty interesting. So with those people, they say like, okay, if I knew I need to get a gift or something, or I just moved, decorating my office, I want to buy like a poster, then I have a pretty good chance of converting them. But it's catching those people at the right time. So my goal with YouTube, so if I'm running YouTube ads for this, is basically show people that we exist, and what kind of things we have for sale. Just basically like a brand awareness, or like, hey, this thing exists, and you should come and check us out. So let's actually, I'm gonna, so in this first part, I'm actually gonna basically talk through a little bit of the basics, talk to some of the ideas that I have for the ad. I will have like a script in my mind I just want to put down, and then we kind of will evolve it a little bit. I think next time, maybe next week, I'll stream again, and we might have like a more ready ad, and we can then run with it, right? So with the Apes in space YouTube ads here, okay, so this is what we're gonna do here. There's gonna be a few different factors, right, that we'll have. First up is the creative. It's kind of coming up with what kind of ad are we gonna create. Then also the targeting. Actually, this is something that we should tackle first. I kind of alluded to it already. So call this agenda. Yeah, and probably here something like this. This will be our plan, and probably like today. I'll probably get somewhere to like strategy and maybe a little bit of creative, and then the next couple of sessions we'll tackle the other ones. So by the way, if you are watching this live, be sure to drop a link in the comment. If YouTube ads are something that you also are thinking about or have experience with, let me know in the comments. All right, so when it comes to the strategy, as I said, this was basically the goal of this is to sit at the top of the funnel, right? So top of funnel, tofu, and really to drive brand awareness. So with these type of campaigns, one of the things to keep in mind is that brand awareness, especially on YouTube, means that somebody will click, somebody will actually want to watch a video, and then depending on the actual placement and the ad format, your ad will show in a number of different places. But most common places, it will show before or in between the video that people do want to watch. So they're on YouTube with the goal of watching a video, and they've actually clicked the video and are waiting to see that video, right? So these are the usually the skippable in-stream ads or skippable ads. They keep changing the names. So you want to make sure that if you do run an ad there, you have to keep in mind what people are doing. So as I said, they're waiting for their video to show, and then they need to watch at least 5 seconds of your ad. So if you're in that position, or they're actually going to watch your ad, or they're going to skip your ad, right? So it's one of those two things. The thing that doesn't really happen that often, or especially like with the goal of like brand awareness with a cold audience that doesn't know you, is they probably won't click on you and then purchase straight away. This type of campaign plants a seed in the back of their mind, puts an idea in the back of their mind, like this exists, right? Probably it's your job then to revisit them, retarget them, make sure that you keep top of mind. But as I said, that's the brand awareness. So if you run ads, so we've had advertisers coming up with an ad or having an ad produced by an outside company, come up with two variations. We run campaigns, and their expectation is that we will. So let's say we spend $100, $200 on YouTube ads a day, that they get the kind of the same return than they will see in their search ads and shopping ads. But thing is, attributing that those impressions to actually the sales, it's pretty tough, because there is a delay. People watch your ad, don't take action straight away, and it might impact their their likelihood of buying. So especially with my brand, actually I don't expect a lot of impact, but I just want to see like what is possible for a small brand like me, right? So the goal of our campaign is brand awareness, and if we think about like how we're gonna actually checking my YouTube playbook that we've developed for our clients. So our goal here is to basically create, no, that's the content. Let's talk about measuring first. Right, so here we're actually basically with the brand awareness, if we think about like what we want to do, like some measurements, it's going to be like the view rate, that's going to be important, and also the cost per view, right? So those two things, so those are like the metrics that we want to watch. Probably also could be interesting, CPM, and also the frequency where we're targeting, and probably also let's put that in here. Right. So these are kind of like the things that we're watching whenever we're running a campaign for brand awareness, right? So you don't see any click-through rate, you don't see any ROAS here. Those are things that I'm definitely interested in. But at this point, I'm not expecting it. So if my target was like the click-through rate straight away, it would be kind of a I have to think. Maybe I do. My goal isn't just straight up brand awareness, but it's like I'm trying to do two things at once. So probably my CTR should be pretty should also be important here. I realize that now I'm actually coming up with a ton of different metrics here that aren't all super important to watch. So we'll revisit this later. What we want to have now in the brand awareness. So when we're thinking about what kind of content do we want to put there, and there it's kind of again looking through our list. So we're doing brand awareness, and we kind of want to create content that actually engages with potential customers, right? So maybe that's already like the creative. With the potential customers, okay? That's our strategy. That's the start of a strategy, right? So strategy is brand awareness, and then we convert them. How it plays into our regular strategy, we convert them with we have Facebook dynamic ads running, and we have also remarketing campaigns running, right? And we also have a shopping campaign with audiences, so it's also a type of remarketing. So we'll drive brand awareness with this and convert them actively with this. But of course, we're also doing email and also have like a good organic presence. So we might find people that way as well. All right. So and we'll kind of be watching here, basically view rate, cost per view. Here impressions. So these two things. These two, impressions and kind of frequency. It kind of gives us impressions, unique users. So this is kind of what we're going for here. One, we want to see like what our reach is, like how many people are we reaching, probably and then how many times do we actually show our ad. So are we reaching the same person every day for a whole month? And probably they've seen us. These two, view rate and cost per view, to me they're quality indicators. Like the view rate means how many people actually completed your ad. Well, I'll let's look up the exact definition, right? So let's see here. Okay, so a ratio showing the number of paid views of a video ad to the number of impressions, right? So the important thing here, or the tricky thing here, is what a view is. What does Google see as a view? What is a view? Okay. So I do want to give you the exact definitions. I could come up with something, but I want to make sure that it is correct. So when someone watches 30 seconds of your video ad, or if your duration is shorter than 30 seconds, so if it's 2 minutes and somebody watches at least 30 seconds, that's a view. If your ad is 15 seconds and a person watches your whole ad, that's a view as well. Or interacts with the ad, right? So if they click it, if they pause it or something, that also counts as a view. So with that said, the view rate then is how many people that see it, so the impressions, how many people actually spend the time watching it. So they can skip, if it's a skippable ad, they can skip after 5 seconds. So if they do that, you don't pay, right? So that can be a good thing. Cost per view basically calculates how much you're spending in total divided by the number of views. To me, this metric is the most important one. Click-through rate as well, but if you think about like quality score or some type of thing in YouTube ads, it's gonna be all about the view rate, right? So YouTube, so thinking about or translating quality score from the Google Ads interface to YouTube, what is Google's intention with the quality score? Well, they want to make sure that the ad people are seeing really is applicable to what they're searching for, right? So that's why they try to match the landing page, they try to match what is in the ad, etc. So if you translate that to YouTube, what does YouTube want? Well, YouTube wants people to stay on the website and watch videos. Right, so the core thing is that if you're putting something in front of them, that you keep watching. So Google will actually reward advertisers that have content that people watch, because that's also how they get paid, right? So if they show an advertiser, and people are always skipping his or her ads, then Google also doesn't make money. So it's less inclined to show that video more. So what I think is that dynamic is happening, and that impacts the cost per view. So that's why you will have sometimes advertisers having a 1 or 2 cent cost per view, while other advertisers are paying 8, 9, 10 cents. Or even more for a view, just because Google sees like, okay, this is a good ad, people watch this. CPM basically is a different way to price it. So that's the cost per mil. It kind of gives you, people like to throw this around like, okay, CPM on Facebook is this much, CPM on the Google Display Network is this much, kind of to compare different platforms, or also different ads, right? So you can compare different campaigns through that. And of course, click-through rate. So that's a short definition. Now about the content, right? So this is all like the intro to here, where I had the idea to actually start an ad for my store. And to do that, I'm heavily inspired, or I'm really fascinated about what the team over at Purple has done. So actually, I covered them. So I created like a case study from Purple mattresses. So one thing they did really well. So with YouTube, actually with search ads in the mattress space, clicks can easily go from $5, $10, $20, even $50 for a single click, right? And that's because these products are pretty expensive and people have like a good margin. So it really drives up clicks. So instead of competing with those other advertisers and also paying $10, $20 per click, they actually decided that they would focus on running YouTube ads to create this brand awareness that then translates into sales. So they're a super fascinating company. I'd urge you to check them out. I'll see if I can include somewhere a link. But they were super fascinating. So one of the things that they've done, or I've watched a lot of movies with the people that were involved with this, and one of their main tips was to create modular content, right? And what that means is that you don't create, so let's say, oh, we need an ad, we come up with an idea for an intro, we do the medium, we do our product, our product showing or something, and then we have a call to action, right? So let's say we come up with one of these, we record all of that, we put that in the video, and then we have our ad. As I said before, the real goal of having those ads is kind of like testing what works. So that creative testing is one of the biggest parts, because let's say your intro sucks and people think like, oh man, I'm not gonna watch this. They skip. So once they skip the ad, you kind of lose them, right? So maybe with a different intro, you could have like people watching a little bit longer. It's kind of similar to copywriting, right? So you can have an amazing text, but if your headline, if your title sucks, less people are gonna watch it. If your first line sucks, less people are gonna start reading, right? So it's the same with that intro. And before, probably you think your idea is great and people will love it, but you want to make sure that you test it. So instead of creating like a single version for all of these, you kind of create a couple of different versions for your intro, for the medium part of your ad, for showing the product, a couple of different calls to action, and then you start like mixing and matching those four elements, or probably maybe there's like other things like social proof in there as well, right? So you need to plan this out. So this is why I can't show you an existing ad yet, but I do have an idea. And now, so let me quickly act out the idea that I had. I made a few notes here. So it would start, so with the intro, you have like a couple of seconds before like the 5 seconds are over, you kind of have to hook them in. So you want to make sure that they keep watching. So I would go something like, ever since I was a small boy, I've been fascinated by space, rocket launches, exploring outer planets, astronauts visiting different worlds. I've always loved it. Okay, so that's kind of an intro, kind of hook them with a story. Maybe I could even say like, and a couple of years ago, I bought this telescope. So I've been watching on a couple of clear nights the stars, and it's been amazing. But it's not always easy to find the time to go out and watch the stars. Okay, so that could be another part in the intro that we can add or we can take away. All right. And then I'm already going into kind of my pitch. That's why I'm super happy that I've discovered Apes in Space. So Apes in Space is a poster company that takes these, that has these super high quality images, and they put it on posters. They got a ton of different pictures. So they have one from the moon landing, they have from the space shuttle, or even some shots from other launches, like here, some SpaceX launches. And then I was thinking, so this is again, where was I? Okay, so that's kind of my intro. And then I was kind of thinking to have like a bell sound. So it seems somebody was ringing the door. And then I would actually get my poster, say like, oh yeah, and I ordered this. and kind of like unwrap it and do maybe like a sped up version of me unwrapping the actual product. And then I would show them like what I got. Like, oh yeah, so this is a poster, pretty good. You could also get it framed, but I didn't. So I still had a frame lying around, and then I could do some like magic YouTube cut where I do like slide a poster onto the wall or something, and then it has popped into a frame. And then we have like a call to action, says like, get your dose of space inspiration over at apesinspace.com. So that's kind of my rough idea for the ad. It's kind of me riffing off the top of my head. So that's the first rough version. What I'm gonna do next in the coming week is probably write it out a little bit and create a single version. So the thing that I was saying, like, don't do this, I am gonna do that. I'm gonna create a single, or maybe a few different things, keeping it very simple, and recording something. And then basically what I'll do is in the next session, so we're kind of running up to half an hour, so kind of want to wrap this up. In the next session, I think we'll have like some creative, some kind of ad that I'm then gonna target and launch, right? And then we'll just look at the results at what's happening there, because I kind of want to run an ad first, like the shittiest version of an ad, because this is all like happening on no budget. I don't have any budget for this particular ad, because I don't think it's gonna make money. So I'm not putting any budget to it. But once we have that, probably I'll work on a little bit of a higher version, spending a little bit more time on the production of this, just with the stuff that I have lying around, like my phone, kind of with some posters, some video editing. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And check back in with me next week for part 2, where we're gonna do a little bit more. Take care and have a good week.